Good evening, trippers. Good evening, everyone, and welcome along to this week's Tuesday Club. I know we said half 8ish, but of course it's Ireland, and you guys are 26 minutes ahead, so that means that we're actually early.
That's good.
It's 26 minutes past 8 Dublin time. Given that
it used to be an extra half an hour at one stage.
Yeah, 26 minutes.
Yeah.
And given that we're coming up to Brexit and Ireland is now technically the capital of the EU remaining UK, you need to adjust yourselves to Irish time. And that's essentially it. So deal with it.
Just an Irish thing, isn't it?
I know. Yeah, just there we go. Where are we? Okay, so good evening, welcome along. We are here. There's only three of us. It's an acoustic set tonight. There's Ray Dickinson. Andy, he's hiding behind the mic. And if you look there, you can actually see yourself on screen.
Closer to you.
No, because then people can't hear you. And then I have to do more editing when I get home and production and right.
Do something with that.
Oh, don't mess with wires.
Do you want this cushion?
That's alright.
Sure.
I was just relaxing.
Alright, grand. Alright, on tonight we're going to talk about what happened at the weekend, the Chelsea game, and we're going to look ahead to the Brighton game and look at all possibilities. Good, bad and indifferent, and we'll also have a little natter about Nabil Fekir, who happens to be Stephen Daly's most talked about player for the best part of 2.5 years.
Really?
I'll have to say Steve has been on the Fekir train long before the train was even built. He was in the train building yard and he was saying Liverpool should sign Fekir. If they were going to sign one player off Lyon, not Lacazette, go for Fekir. So we'll be talking about that later on. And we'll also have a look at a couple more rumours that we've heard about in the camp, because what you don't know about is that Ray is actually connected to the club, and a lot of the rumours that Grizz gets come through Ray's contacts. All I'd say about that is Dembele, but which one are we going to talk about later on? That's the surprise for everyone that's listening in. Anyway, tonight I've gone through the lads. Of course, the podcast is brought to you in association with RedsBet, which is down over. I wouldn't be right sure, just over there on the oak. And the lads at RedsBet, of course, are sponsoring the Tuesday Club, and they're sponsoring in the upcoming season as well, and across the pre-season of the World Cup that's there. Get on there, join up to the LFC Day Trippers Club, and there'll be specials in the betting, especially coming up to the Champions League final and also this weekend. And they'll also they give back to the community in the way it works as well, so it's definitely worthwhile if you're going to put a bet on. And we'll always say gamble responsibly, and if you have loads and loads of money, gamble really responsibly. And get on there, and of course we'll do all that, but we'll do something with them later on, and we'll be doing stuff from the account as well. So lads, let me start. We start tonight we did the post match. It seems such a long time ago that we managed to lose against Roma, and we went into the game at the weekend at Chelsea, and I said the one thing leaving here last week was, lads, whatever we do, please don't lose to Chelsea. Please erase the ghost of 2014 when all our hopes were crumbled on a rock that perished that was called Jose Mourinho's Chelsea Park the Bus. So we come up against the Chelsea team and they more or less just parked the bus and scored a goal, and we fucked up. And it's, now thankfully it's still in our own hands. But Andy, let me take you back to the match at the weekend. How do you feel after watching that? It was a bit disappointing that the team looked fucked.
Yeah, I suppose when you look at the two previous games where you're coming off the back of big European games, and it's sort of semi-acceptable that the players can't get up for those fixtures. You know what I mean? Like it's hard when you played in the Champions League and you're coming up against West Brom, and that it must be difficult for the players. But this was a chance, I suppose, to get their heads back in the game. Playing against Chelsea, it's always, no matter where you are in the table and no matter what you're chasing, it's always good to beat the bigger teams.
Yeah.
And it just seemed like the players weren't as motivated as we've gotten used to, especially in the last few months. Okay. And the fear now is that it's burnout.
Big fear.
It is, isn't it?
It has to be a big fear, yeah.
I said to you, Ray, a couple of weeks back, and people can go back and listen to the podcast. I think it was it before this? It was before the West Brom game. It was after the win against Roma. And I said, look, we can't afford to dial in the match against West Brom. We need to just get that win on the board, and then we can park the league and just enjoy the run in the Champions League from here on and spread the legs. And throwing that when you look back at it, we're 2-0 up with 10 minutes to play against West Brom. That's Champions League in the bag there.
Yeah.
Right? Mm. It's really fucking discouraging now at this stage that we've left the door slightly ajar, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, like, the mind boggles at the thought of us missing out on Sunday. Obviously, we've got the second chance then against Madrid, but you don't really
Want a
want
second.
to be
Yeah.
in that position where that really is kind of shit or bust really for
Mm.
not necessarily just for the season, but the whole momentum that takes into next season and the whole thoughts of having to put up with Europa League and all that. I mean, it should have thought. I think a lot of, not everything, but part of our problems come down to the fact that obviously, whilst we haven't had a massive amount of injuries, they're really sort of taken hold in the midfield.
Mhm.
You know, go back a couple of months and I was quite happy with the fact that we had the 5 lads in midfield and it was 3 from 5.
Yeah.
Now, unfortunately, 2 of those lads aren't around anymore. And he obviously took the decision to rest Henderson on Sunday and play Trent in that 3. And that's really where it's starting to show up now. You know, and that midfield just isn't getting the job done. On Sunday specifically, I thought I personally did it bet for us to score 3 or more goals because I thought
last Sunday.
Yeah, because I thought
Were you on a
this
lot
is
of drugs?
this is all down to the first. This game is all down to the first goal. Yeah, that's what I thought. Had we have scored the first goal, then obviously they've got to come out at us and we can potentially pick them off and win that game handily. As soon as that first goal went in, I thought we are in massive bother here.
Yeah.
And I could not see us getting back into the game. My immediate thought was we're going to lose this game, and there was nothing after that for the next half an hour, 40 minutes that really changed my mind that we were going to turn that around. And I just couldn't see us, even though we only needed the draw, even though in those last few minutes, any kind of flick that went our way and the ball's in the back of the net and we've secured Champions League, I just couldn't see it happening.
Buster Frankie says the bookmaker won't be cycling to work over your bets.
I've had, look, to be fair, like they've come good. You know, Liverpool have obviously scored a lot of goals this season, and in specific games you can kind of foresee where they're going to have these opportunities. And it's one of those where I just thought if we get the first goal, they've got to come out at us. They'll need 2 goals, but unfortunately they got the first goal and it worked out beautifully for them.
When we play against a team that plays, 3 centre backs and the wide men, it's either going to be we're going to absolutely hammer them and expose them, or else it's going to be the opposite. And Chelsea are so accustomed to playing that shape at the moment that if they get, if they're a goal ahead, they can easily be very compact at the back. And once that happens, it kind of nullifies our attack, like the little spaces that Mane and Salah like to exploit. They just can't operate in there because there's too many bodies.
But they're top quality defenders, Chelsea.
Okay,
Let's
but
not get away
can
from
I
that.
put something to you? Because you rubbished me after the match against Roma on Wednesday, right?
Yeah.
And you said that,
I was a little bit excited.
Look, I listened to that podcast and that was the most excited I've heard the lads. So everything seemed to go out the window that night in terms of proper thought process.
There was a point I made last week, and I'll make it again, right? Since the United game, good enough teams have been shown a way to play against us to nullify our threat up front, right?
Yeah.
So what Roma did in Rome essentially was they went back, they put a back four, but they had another man sit in front and screen defence, which effectively became a back 5 and stopped. I'm talking about for the second half.
No, but I rubbished you when you said that Liverpool were starting to show weakness at the back.
Yeah.
That they haven't.
Okay,
I didn't rubbish Anthony said about other teams.
Do you want me to
setting up.
rewind it? Do you want me to press rewind there and play it back?
So I'll answer whichever one. I should really be answering the one that I did rubbish.
Okay.
And I did think against Chelsea, there was a let off prior to the goal. There was a warning. And then that goal that they scored seemed far too simple. Just get the ball down the channel and whip it in.
Is there not enough familiarity though to the goals that are being scored against us? It's the same goal.
Area balls again. And,
it's something that we all thought had been cured with Van Dijk coming into the team. It looked like that we had someone that was really dominating the penalty box for us. And just since the United game, right, it started to creep back in. The West Brom game is probably the one where the mentality starts to get flexed because it's 2 balls whipped into the box that gives up chances.
Well, look, Robertson has been excellent. It was good play out wide and the ball was delivered and it came off Mane's head, didn't it? It was a bit of a deflection.
Yeah, it was a deflection
so
there, and that completely sort of fell into Giroud's lap.
He just got up and he was just in between. He was behind Van Dijk and kind of ahead of Lovren. Was in the right place at the right time. It was a good finish, but there was a couple of warning signs before that where they could have got a goal. And again, there seems to be a little bit of panic, unnecessary panic that maybe Van Dijk has helped cure.
Yeah.
So it is a concern because Brighton could come to Anfield at the weekend and okay, they're on holiday mode, they're wearing the flip flops.
Well, do you wear
But
them
they-
all year because it's on the beach?
But with a bit of with that bit of freedom, they might just fancy themselves for a little, nothing
Put on a
to
show.
lose,
Let me
and just throw in a few balls. And
Yeah.
Liverpool have so much at stake. They could easily.
There was nervousness. It was
Yeah.
like the Middlesbrough game. Remember the first 10 minutes of the Middlesbrough game? Middlesbrough sort of came at us and there was a
Yeah.
bit of like, oh.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, we got that goal just before half time. Wijnaldum scored, and that completely
Changes the
changed.
game, yeah.
That, it was literally bang on half time. There's a lot of frustration building in the crowd. It's going to be interesting going over to this weekend's game, and I just
Go on the game.
don't want a
You going to the
game again. Yeah,
You going to the game?
Thankfully,
the game?
it's the last one because I'm losing brownie points with the misses with all the games I'm going to at the moment. But anyway,
Damo's gone.
oh, is he? Yeah.
He's driving over. I don't know what ferry. He's getting magical ferries and everything. He's planning to be back on the 7 p.m. ferry or something. I don't know what time he thinks the game's kicking off at. It's like
I
He
think it's a
must have-
make-a-wish thing.
he must have a weird helicopter to bring him back after the.
I'm pretty torn over the fact that there is something at stake. Obviously, if you go over and it's a dead rubber like it potentially, well, it should have been, then that's one thing. But I suppose in another way, at least I'm going over to watch something that means something. But last season, yeah, it was exactly the same kind of scenario. And if it wasn't for that goal at the end of the first half, who knows? I mean, the crowd was getting edgy and agitated. And I just hope that the crowd is patient this week because obviously we've had some massive highs in the last few weeks.
Okay, one of
A
the
good week on
one-
the app as well.
Yeah.
And one of the comments that's coming, and actually it leads into what you're talking about there, right? Is that, and it's a common sort of idea that's out there, is that we do look completely goosed at this stage. That's the word that everyone's must this year's word for me.
Goose as in,
Everyone's
as in
goosed.
fucked.
Yeah.
Like, are dead on their feet,
Yeah.
kind of fatigued, that
Yeah.
sort of thing. Yeah.
And yet we've been told nobody gets tired when you've got a Champions League final at stake. Everyone is just up for it and they can magically get over fatigue.
Well, like,
So are you on the magic fatigue bus or are you on the goosey goose bus?
I'm on the
Goosey
goose bus.
goose.
I'd say there's a
Until
bit of,
I'm proved otherwise.
I'd say there's a bit of kind of sports psychology behind it all as well. Like,
Yeah.
I find watching them now, you're not as up for a league game as you are the Champions League. It's like you've used up all your energy shouting, thinking about the game. That when it comes to even playing against Chelsea, like, you know what I mean, you should have been way more up for it. Chance to just fucking put Champions League top 4 in the bag and you feel yourself flat. I'd imagine for the players it's at an extreme. They've all got one eye on the final, and the Champions League for a good while now has been that kind of priority. It's just a mental, like, emotional roller coaster, I'd say, from especially the types of games they've had and how mad it's been, for the players, and how satisfying it's going to be going and playing in the Champions League final. To going back to the bread and butter at the weekend, and they don't want to get injured. No one wants to get injured, and maybe they are feeling tired, but emotionally as well. I'd say.
I think I'll go back to Ray's point. When your engine room is reduced to 3 players essentially that have to play every single game,
Yeah.
and then you're relying on a fella who you've groomed for a right back over 2 years to try play in the centre midfield.
Or
That-
Klein
that-
at one stage
yeah.
against Stoke.
There has to be questions asked, right, about why wasn't there a callback option put into the likes of Grujic or
Can he come back now? I was just thinking this today because obviously
the championship
Cardiff
is finished.
season's over. Can he potentially be on the bench on Sunday if needed?
I don't know.
I don't see why not.
I don't know. I know he'd qualify as one of the under the B players in the Champions League squad because he's been through whatever the academy is or whatever
Yeah,
it is for
okay,
X amount
in
of
that
years.
process, yeah.
And he's less than 20. He's under 25, so he should definitely be available for it because the championship games will be finished by then. So even
They
the
have
playoffs
finished?
and all, yeah.
No, they've and Cardiff got promoted, so
Did they?
Yeah.
Was that a championship? Was it the playoffs?
they got outright promotion, so they've no more games.
I know, yeah, but the championship season isn't finished until the playoffs are over.
Why does that mean he then can't be released until after that?
I think it
I
might
don't
be
know. I
because
was
you
gonna
know
look
the
it up
way
today,
you
but
know the way
It would be handy if we could have that extra body
Yeah.
I like
in
listen.
the squad, wouldn't it?
I
And he's going to be match sharp.
would have recalled him once Emre Can got injured in the Bournemouth game, right, which I think is March the something 31st or something like that, and that was the last time we won a match, right, in the league. I would have recalled him almost immediately because at that stage we had Henderson carrying a knock. We'd only got Milner, and we had Ox, and we had Wijnaldum, essentially as our mainstays on midfield. We lose Lallana, and we lose Oxlade nearly immediately after that as well.
Yeah.
And you are down to 3 players.
And Lallana's back in the mix now, is he? In terms of getting on the bench, he seems to be.
Well, like the likelihood is Lallana's going to do a Cruyff turn in training, and his hip or his groin is going to go again. Like that's just the fucking.
I think right. We have got our 3 fit, experienced midfielders in Milner, Henderson, and
2 more games,
Ronaldo, and with 2 games, and they're a week apart, and they've had a week rest before this one. They should be alright.
And we've got a mini cup final on Sunday. They should be able to get up for it. The big one.
I think
2 weeks later.
I think it's kind of. I'm not trying to put a Tompkins spin on it, positive spin on it, but to have them still with something to play for, so close to the other game, it's probably going to benefit us.
If we win the game, then it'll work out perfectly in that sense, because we'll play the competitive game against a team that okay, they're not any world beaters, but they'll be playing with a lot of freedom. They've just come off a win against United, so like in that respect it's great, but obviously the flip side of it, and the thing that I fear the most is if we don't get that result and we end up finishing 5th, the amount of
the negativity
faces around the camp.
Sorry, if we don't win at the weekend and we finish 5th in the league, right?
Because obviously we can. There's other things can happen. We could draw that game and still come 4th.
Yeah.
But if we come 5th,
the best thing that could happen now is Chelsea to draw with Newcastle during the week. And take the pressure off.
They're playing both Spurs and Chelsea, aren't they?
They're both playing this with tomorrow,
So Rafa might be able
tomorrow
to do a job.
Oh, sure, Rafa's doing favours out over the shop again.
You could deal with it. That would be deadly. I mean, like if we finish 5th and win the Champions League, obviously it's going to be great. But there will be that certain thing in the background that we only finish 5th.
Yeah,
and I feel like the year in 2005 when the same thing happened. You start putting doubts over the team in the league again.
But Andy, I would say the thing about 2005 was that team were clearly the 5th place team in England.
Substandard
to
reach top 4.
This team, for the majority of this season, outside the first 9 games and up until the last 4 league games, we thought we could actually finish 2nd in the league. We string 2 wins out with West Brom and Stoke, and we're 2nd in the league.
We've been telling ourselves for weeks we're the 2nd best team in this league, you can argue the case for that, but the reality is we could end up finishing 5th.
I think Spurs will bottle it. I think just on it, an awful lot of people are saying Spurs will bottle it. Spurs have gone through a really bad spell. I don't think they've won in 4 games in the same way we haven't, right?
Yeah.
They keep trying to get Kane to score goals.
I know, yeah. What's going on there? It's mental. Yeah. But I think, like, eventually, again, the law of averages says that we are due a win in the league. And I would also say the law of averages say that Spurs are due a win. But I work with a Spurs fan, and he's shitting it. He's saying we need to win and draw our last 2 league games.
Because they've got Chelsea looking over the shoulder.
And he's saying at least you only have to win your last game.
Yeah.
He says it's nailed on. If we lose 1 match, you don't even need to win your last game. You could have potentially draw. If we draw, we're suckered. Like, do you know what I mean? So they're only a point behind. We're a point ahead of Spurs, but they have a game in hand.
Yeah. So they can afford to lose a game and win a game if we only draw against Brighton. So they've got a reasonable path. But obviously, if we win and they slip up, then they've got Chelsea breathing down the necks.
Yeah.
I mean, that was the thing about as much as it was good to see Spurs lose against West Brom. It gave Chelsea that added impetus to go, to get that win, because they've now got 2 teams in play who they can potentially catch.
Yeah.
So that did worry me actually when Tottenham lost against West Brom at the weekend. I wasn't overly happy about it in a strange way.
Andy, you will because you have the Andy economics, the school of Andy-nomics, right? Yeah. And your whole thing is keep it 2 points per game. We're not going to achieve 2 points per game this season.
No, we can't now.
No, and that is disappointing.
That is disappointing.
I mean, it does seem to be the magic number that if you get
76,
you get Champions League football. And
proven methodology.
Are we 71?
We're on 72, and we can get to 75.
Okay.
We're still a point
Not
off.
far off.
Not far off.
Yeah.
But we're going to actually we're going
Not far off.
we're going to
Well,
finish
we'll
up.
guarantee
9 times
it,
out of
we're
10,
actually-
I'd say
listen to me.
74.
If
Yeah,
I
we'll
if I
guarantee
told
it's
you we were going to
75.
finish up this season with less points than last season at the very start of the season, people would have been like, "Oh Jesus, we can't really afford to finish up with less points because that will put us borderline for top 4." And you would have
Which
said
it
at the start of the
is, which it
season,
is.
"Okay, no, I'm just parking the Champions League final because look, that changes the whole complexion
I
of
know.
the season, right?"
I know.
But like, if you take pure league form and say we're going to finish up with less points than last season, and it's going to be borderline, we're going to go into the last game of the season on a really bad run of form, people would have been bricking it just looking at that as a scenario in terms of what we had to do. On the positives, though,
How many points did we
like,
finish with last year?
Salah hasn't scored in 9 years, so he's due a goal this
How many
weekend.
points we finished with last? 78? was it?
78, yeah. And when we were seeing all the tables of our extrapolated points over season, and we were like well above what the 78 was going
But
to be.
I think there's 3 draws, isn't there, for me, which are kind of a direct consequence of our run in the Champions League. You know, there's the Everton, Stoke, and the West Brom.
And if you can
I
feel-
think we
if you
win
can
at least one of those games, if not 2
Yeah.
of those games.
Yeah.
If our squad isn't having to be balanced, what isn't an adequate squad is having to be balanced between the 2 competitions.
Yeah, but people will say that we made a mistake in August, not bolstering the squad, and we made more mistakes in January. You know, there'll be people doubting Klopp saying we should have done this and we should have done that, and you don't really like to see people being proven right over the manager who we believe is the best manager we could possibly have in the moment. But they will be seen as 2 grave errors.
If we don't get top 4.
Yeah, if we lost the Champions League final and we don't get top 4, they will be seen as like, you know, reckless.
Yeah.
Mm.
And
to be selling Coutinho and not really sort of,
well, the
Just
thing I said,
bringing in anyone really,
Right,
or letting
the thing I said,
Grujic go,
and I said last season, and I said the same this season. I said it's a gamble, right? The whole thing is a gamble. We were gambling that we wouldn't get too many injuries in our run in, that we could maintain our challenge in terms of what
and we were all worried about Salah or Mane or Firmino, and actually what's turned out to potentially undermine us is the midfield. It's 5 lads.
And then again, last year we gambled with the centre backs that we had and waited till the summer to upgrade what it was, and we actually ended up waiting till the winter to upgrade what we had, right? And again, that's a gamble. But you look at it and you say, okay, that gamble pays off because we get top 4. If we get top 4 and we're in a Champions League final, if on next Monday or next Tuesday when we're doing this, we're sitting here with top 4 in the bag and we're in a Champions League final, you'd say, right, it was a gamble, it was an unnecessary gamble, it was a gamble, but it's paid off, right? The problem is, at some stage, those gambles, just like your bet at the weekend, is not going to pay off you.
Yeah,
right?
absolutely. And the way we play football is a gamble at every game.
Yeah,
you know, that's just Kloppy.
We're living on the edge sometimes, aren't we?
He seems to, and I don't know. Like you would imagine in the summer that the midfield will be added to, and we will have more backup up the top 4. Top 3 players would have a 4th player like Fekir or whatever, like or some other make you.
Interesting that it's interesting that you mentioned it. Do you think now signing Fekir solves a lot of problems for us? Because I've seen imaginary lineups for next season. Interestingly enough,
already.
We're already talking about 4-3-3s, 4-4-2s. 4 box 2-2, and I've had Fekir as just off Firmino, playing as a sort of a diamond in the midfield.
This is what you're foreseeing for the Aviva, is it?
No, this is what has already appeared. Right, Keita is in there, Fekir is in there, right, and we've Salah, Firmino, and Mane.
And Solanke.
No, Solanke's gone to Rangers. We're talking about Stevie going to Rangers in a minute. And Fekir is there, and I've seen imaginary centre backs, because have a guess what. Have a guess who isn't in the starting 11.
Oh, Lovren, I wouldn't say.
Yeah, and have a guess who's in goal.
Alisson.
Yeah. These lads are just they're done deals.
Look, we've seen we've seen this happen so many times. The name cropped up. People know about Fekir, but the name cropped up as in we had an interest in it. What, 4 days ago or something like that?
Jordan, the match against Chelsea, even Klopp laughed. He said, we signed someone while we were playing the match. That's interesting.
Yeah.
Good one. Good accent. Yeah. But
watch the box lads, right?
just a rumour out there, and all of a sudden, like, he's in people's starting lineups for next year. People need to learn seriously. Like, this will be denied tomorrow, and then there'll be another name, and it'll be the same shit over and over again. He looks like an ideal addition to that Liverpool squad to be able to come in for the top three anywhere across it.
Yeah.
Why weren't people talking about him before? Like,
Well, he was.
you know,
I
know
actually,
Stephen was talking
no,
about
no.
but why wasn't it this horn for him? Like,
Shawnee, hang on, Andy. I know where you're getting to, right?
Yeah.
But I do remember when we were discussing why players who could replace Coutinho, and even I remember back in January, and we mentioned it was that. Well, why would you replace Coutinho with a Coutinho? Wouldn't sign someone like Fekir who plays in a front three, who can play, who likes to press, who is very aggressive, but also has the eye for a pass for a Coutinho, something like that. Why wouldn't we go for someone like that? It's a bit like, I'll go back to why I thought, hang on, I got to walk away. It's a bit like why I thought we should have signed Salah last season.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
Yeah, okay. But at the moment, where we're at now, this week, with this whole Fekir rumour, fans now desperately want him to the point that we need him, and if we don't get him, it's going to be an absolute failure. And fans are going to be so disheartened when the rumour is rubbished, or he goes to Chelsea, or he goes to somewhere in Spain, or whatever,
France,
and he goes somewhere else, and everyone starts blaming the club again that we can't do this, we can't do that. Wake up! It's a rumour. The club haven't. We don't even know whether the club have approached for the player.
Where's the source?
Where is the sauce? So,
okay, can I
Fans
just?
need to cop on.
I'll say one
Like-
thing. From what Dicko told us off air, right, due to
yeah.
his contact that he has at the
Yeah.
club, right?
yeah,
Fekir is a done deal.
yeah,
And according to all the French journals today, they're all saying that Klopp met with Fekir in January. Now, the last time I heard this, there was all types of problems signing the player, right? But allegedly, Fekir was in Blackpool on January the 15th,
yeah.
and they went for they did the Pleasure Beach tour, right?
The
The same as Van Dijk got.
behind closed doors.
Behind closed doors this
Yeah.
time, so nobody knew about
Okay.
this, right? It's
Good-
only
good timing, actually.
it's only coming out today.
No
But
one
the
knew.
story coming out is that Fekir gave Klopp his agreement that he would sign for the club in the same way Van Dijk did. So in terms of likeness is the deal, either they're just rehashing what happened with the Van Dijk and replacing Van Dijk with Fekir, right? Or there has been some contact, and it's one of these things for me anyway. I think there's a true value in it because it's just come out of nowhere. And remember your point about deals before?
Yeah.
They just seem to come out of nowhere and all of a sudden it's done.
Yeah, but this hasn't come out of nowhere because he can't sign tomorrow.
Yeah,
Like,
but
when
he
I'm talking
can
about
next week.
coming July the 1st.
No.
July the 1st,
You can
isn't it? Yeah.
You can
Yeah.
literally sign anyone at any time. They just can't
There
sign
could
for the
be,
club.
I suppose there could be some sort of pre-thing arranged or whatever
Yeah.
if both clubs are on board. And they want to cash in 70 million as being
The
bandied
rumor,
about. It's a lot of money. But when I say like the ones that come out of nowhere, like all of a sudden we've signed a player, the ITK has never got a chance to even catch up. But this has the potential to be a 2-month saga of him coming to Liverpool. Oh, he's definitely coming. Oh no, what's going on here? Like, Bill are fucking reporting he's going to Bayern Munich. Like, he's going to there. He's going to,
Yeah.
And then we're all going, the fucking bastards, and the club is to
cheat.
blame.
And a snake.
Yeah, there should be someone employed at the club to come out, like, not to be nice, just be a bastard. And say,
That's what James Pearce did.
yeah,
He
bad news.
ruined bad news Pearce. Well, it used to be bad news Pearce. But look, I look at it and say I think Fekir is definitely happening. From what we've been told, it's a done deal. But the other one that the Klopp has put on the table is that he will be very interested in Ousmane Dembele. Right, so buried behind the Nabil Fekir story is that he more or less said it himself. Now I've given you too much at the press conference. So he's clearly a player that he rates and likes. And there's talk that because Barca are going to sign Griezmann in the summertime for 100+ million, that Dembele could be potentially up for moving. He's the type of player.
Okay.
Like if you win your Solankis and your Ings off to Rangers, right,
Yeah.
and you brought in Fekir and Dembele, you're definitely upgrading your front five, but you aren't addressing your midfield. Keita alone is not going to address the midfield.
No, but that's
not if we lose Chan. At the
There's
same time,
not a hope by Dembele and Fekir. That you're talking about 150 million there or something.
Yeah, but we're
Much
loaning
of Barca
Dembele.
Only a loan.
Yeah, like they're like.
Why would
like
Barca give us a loan?
why did PSG get a loan of Mbappe off Monaco for a year?
They don't like us.
It was part of the Coutinho deal, do you not know?
Yeah. I don't want a big high profile
Yeah.
loan like that. No, you get too attached and no.
Like when we
And then
got
they'd be
Victor
gone.
Moses that time.
Yeah. I don't know. I think Klopp as
Yeah,
well would prefer be bringing in players who can get the boy into this whole thing. Dembele be coming over to further his Barca career.
Do you think though that they might like sign Dembele from Barca on a loan and then sign Dembele from Celtic, right?
Yeah.
And at the end of the loan, send the Celtic Dembele back to Barca to see, like just well, you didn't say which one you wanted back.
Yeah. Yeah. Do that.
Send him off.
What
But,
this all illustrates to me is that come May the 27th, when we're playing the European Cup, that this whole fucking ITK stuff is going to be already in full swing.
The World
You know,
Cup is
and,
in full
and,
go.
and it's silly season, and it just drives me nuts.
Best one I've seen so far is that Sami Khedira is coming to us as part of the deal that's taking Chan to Juve.
The
Now,
free deal.
the free deal, right?
Yeah.
I have to say,
Chan for Chan.
and this is very sound of Emre Can to organise Khedira to come back to Liverpool in his place. Like that's fair play to him. Looking after the club, it's in his heart.
It's so stupid. Like Chan's going to be replaced for sure if he goes.
Now, who would you replace him? See a man, James Maddison seems to whatever chance he has, it's gone now because he's done his knee in.
How do you
The
mean?
Norwich player.
Yeah.
Oh, did he?
Yeah,
Did
he's
he pick up an
cruciate. So which is unfortunate.
That's
Suppose-
that fucked. Yeah. Who do I don't care. Like whoever
Ndidi.
Klopp wants.
Ndidi.
Yeah, get him.
Indeed.
Yeah, be grand.
What about the car?
Just get
Dembele off Spurs.
no.
Alderweireld.
He's a fallacy.
He is a
Yeah.
fantasy. I've said this for ages.
Yeah.
Dembele's the best midfielder in the world. Go look it up on whoscored.com. Chan pisses all over the stats.
Yeah, I know.
So
So does Henderson. So does everyone. So does Ronaldo.
it's interesting that our league form has gone down the tube since Chan got injured, isn't it?
It is interesting, yeah. I'm not sure there's a direct correlation there.
Clearly
but-
is because he
but-
got injured and we've been
No,
shit
but,
since then.
But down to him as a player
His
personally.
influence. His influence.
I
He's
just
that
think
train in the
they're down
middle
on
of the
numbers,
field.
aren't we? At the end of the day, that's
Well, he's
that's
that
the big thing.
he was there against the shit teams, you know, against the Burnleys and all that. He often just ran through the centre of the field and something had happened.
Yeah, look, he was having some decent games. Don't
Yeah.
get me wrong. He was just inconsistent, and he could be infuriating at times. But
When teams sit back, quite often the only way to get the ball up the pitch is for someone to take it
And run at them.
and run at them and pull players out of position. Now, whether that's your centre half doing it
Or
or
your centre mid.
midfielder doing it, it's
And that's what
sometimes
Oxlade
it's
was doing.
necessary.
That's
Yeah,
what Oxlade
Jam-
was doing.
that's
Jam
where
was
he
very
was
good at it. The only thing
blossoming,
about
yeah.
Jam when he does it, he often loses the ball.
But he often takes three players with
Yeah,
him, like, and
yeah,
just knocking them
yeah,
out of the way. So
Yeah. Look at.
disappointing,
He's
isn't it?
very, very upgradable.
It is-
It's an unfortunate situation that you lose a player of his quality for free. But I don't know whether he's definitely gone yet.
Well, from what I heard is that actually it's
You're hearing a lot.
that's because I've put my ear to the ground because it's going to be a big summer. Club are keeping them all under wraps.
I mean, surely the World
Club
Cup's
are
going to
keeping it all
the
under
World
wraps.
Cup's going to interfere with a few things, isn't it?
Well, the thing I heard is that Max Moyer looks to be a definite potential deal.
We're signing everyone.
I know.
We're going to have the biggest squad in Europe.
Well, we
by-
need it
by
because
the
I think the
time we
lesson
get
has
to
been learned.
August.
What's the other fella off?
They'll be
Yeah.
parading
Sam?
60 players in the
Lesbic
Aviva.
that runs loads at defences.
Which fella?
Off Leipzig.
Keita.
No, the other fella up front.
Oh, Timo Werner.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just get him.
No, he's signing for United.
Oh, is he?
Season after next. They're doing a deal to go
Yeah.
for the summer after next.
Fucking sick of every shit.
What's your other man? Your other man's name that plays for Emil Forsberg. That's one now to keep in your back pocket for the
sounds
season after
legal.
next. I know,
We
yeah.
just, look, we're obviously just going to sign someone nobody knew about.
Yeah, Max Moyer.
Yeah.
It is.
You knew about it.
And Christian Pulisic.
That's a link that's been going on for a while.
About it. Mainly because
And
he's
he's
American
sell loads of jerseys.
and he's at Dortmund
Yeah.
and Klopp.
I'm actually the
That's
most
a very
intriguing.
that one would make a lot of sense.
The most intriguing thing for me is the keeper. What we do keeper wise in the summer.
We're signing Lupin in. from Zalga Volgograd.
To compete with Karius.
He's 19 and he's coming in as third choice keeper behind Mignolet and
he's going to slot between Mignolet and Bogdan, is he?
No.
If they're not going to buy a high profile, if they're not going to buy, if they're not going to buy a number one, as in they're not going to go out there and buy Alisson or someone like that, just bring in Reina as replace Mig. Just fuck Mig into the sea.
Is he not returning?
Is there any chance we get your man from Atletico?
He'd be ideal in the dressing room and all that.
Is there any chance we get him? Because he's
got 100 million of a buyout.
Of the two that I've seen lately in games,
far better.
Yeah,
far better
than Alisson.
Yeah.
I think Alisson would suit us better.
Do you?
I think he's more dominant than crosses than Oblak is. And I think ultimately our defence needs a goalkeeper to be dominant.
Has Alisson not just made a name for himself in one season?
Well, I think he made his name for himself because he's got a girl's name. If he was called as Becker, I don't think anybody would just call because his name is Alisson Becker. Everyone just keeps calling him Alisson. Even his jersey has Becker on it. Nobody's paying any attention to it.
Then he sounds like more of a German goalkeeper.
Yeah. And then we think of that German goalkeeper's quality, isn't he?
Yeah.
We'll see how good he is in the World Cup because he is Brazil's number one.
Alisson,
yeah. To see what it is. Anyway, look,
and is Oblak going to be playing in the World Cup?
Yeah, Stephen LFC 92 says it right. Born Mig at the stake. Well, we don't need it anymore.
What?
Mainly like he was powered down. That was the best fucking photograph I've ever seen in my life. There since February. Would we take Reina? Is the rumour true about Reina? Yes, this rumour is true about Reina, as is Max Meyer, Ousmane Dembele at Celtic, and who else we say? Fekir and Pulisic. That's all your signings for the summer.
Because
and then Didi.
Reina's maintained mad form since he left Liverpool.
No, he was shit when he went to Napoli first.
He was shit.
Then he went and lost a load of weight at Bayern Munich.
Okay.
Got better under Pep and then went back to Napoli and is good again.
Like when he left Liverpool, we thought he was finished.
Yeah.
And he's clearly not. They could certainly do him, with a young goalkeeper like Karius there. If that was the route they were going, they're missing some in the dressing room. I know, lads like the Slaughter, Lucas.
Don't you fucking go there, right?
But these are the characters you need.
But don't we have Milner?
Yeah, we have Milner, but we could do it more.
What about Henderson?
Do you think if Lucas,
what's Henderson achieved like that, Reina?
Do you think if Lucas would have hung around for another season, we'd have secured top 4 by now? By having him in and out?
I'll actually fucking take that light and wrap it around your head and choke you for saying that. Right. I think you recant that blasphemy. Blasphemer!
We needed Lucas gone.
Who are we selling to Rangers now that Stevie G has decided that he isn't a good God-fearing Catholic and he's gone off and sold his soul to the horrible Protestants of Rangers, right? And all the bigotry that goes on up there. Is it? Well, first of all,
I'll tell you a funny story this morning, actually, right? I don't generally wear a tie for work, but yeah. I needed to wear a tie for a meeting this morning, so I put the tie on. I looked in the mirror, and I realised that the fucking tie was basically the one Stevie G wore for his Rangers and I was like, no, I'm gonna have to lose this tie. It was okay when I was working in the UK, but it's not okay for this meeting.
Shut up.
Do we think it's a good move for Gerrard? I personally think it's a very good move from him. I think
how?
I'll tell you right. If he hadn't moved when Klopp decides to move on or whatever, the clamour for Stevie G to take over would have been huge, right? This either makes or breaks him. If it makes him, it means that he'll come back and he'll get a job in England or somewhere like that where he'll get to prove himself with a better side and then potentially is ready to take the Liverpool job. If he's not good enough, we'll find out quickly enough. And this may at some point
so. I don't think the time. I think it's too early in his managerial coaching career to prove or disprove himself. You know what I mean? If he does well at Rangers and wins the league, like it's gonna be a miracle. Like it's gonna be very difficult for him. But if it falls flat in his face, absolutely falls flat in his face, it's gonna write him off. And like that doesn't mean that he can't be a good manager for Liverpool one day. I think he would have been far better suited to staying in the club and working his way up to something with the first team.
But this way, Andy, he potentially goes and wins trophies. Like there is money.
He won't, though.
He will.
At the moment, it's
If he loans half the Liverpool under 21 team, they'll finish closer to Celtic this year than they did last year.
Yeah, I think. Look, I get where Andy's coming from it, and the timing's strange because in one way because he hasn't really been back at the club that long, and he's just kind of building something with the youth setup and all that sort of stuff. But I guess if an opportunity like that comes along, and he's obviously an ambitious fella, he's a winner, and he sees the opportunity to go, and he's not going to shy away from a challenge, and he sees the opportunity to go up there and potentially break that dominance that Celtic have had. In some ways, it's kind of, it's a no-lose situation. Now, obviously, if it ends up going so bad that he's sort of bottom half of the league, flirting with relegation, that's something else. But I think he's got enough about him to be able to bring in a better quality of player through his connections, whether that be Liverpool or whatever.
But do you not think
to be able to at least be the second best team in that?
But Ray,
League.
given that that Rangers team is going to be in Europe next season, right?
Yeah.
Given that they're going to have this exposure, do you not think it offers Liverpool as well an opportunity to give him players that won't get games? Harry Wilson,
But sure, you can
Ejaria.
but you can get players out anywhere.
I know, but you've got a guy who's been there, who's after been learning under the Liverpool system, who is embedded in the way Liverpool want to play, where you can say, look, if we send such and such up, are you going to play him, or is this just a case? Because if we send him up, we want you to give him 12, 15 games. And he's going to be straight enough.
I'd rather be sending me players up to him than Neil fucking Warnock.
Well, I'll put it that way.
Exactly.
And I'll put it this way. Michael Beale has gone up there as part of his coaching staff. So if you're going to have any coach with you, right, who is going to have faith in the youngsters that we have, or the young players that potentially could come through, may not come through, right, he's the right fella to have in there with Gerrard, because he's going to know which fellas are potentially up to the level, who aren't. And he's also had his own coaching experience in Brazil, and he's also going to be able to very quickly assess that Rangers squad to say, if we bring in, I don't know, an Ejaria, if we bring Grujic in on loan, if we bring in, Gomez for a season at centre back, if we bring in somebody, right, is he better than what's there in terms of what's really going on? And that to me is the mutual benefit in this whole thing. When you park the partisan shit aside, because to be honest with you,
I don't care about any of that.
Come on, you all do. Don't you?
I'm an Aberdeen fan. I've been an Aberdeen fan ever since Sir Alex was managing Aberdeen. Like that to me blew me mind. They were all red, like Liverpool. That's the only thing I was interested in. Willie Miller, great lads back in the 80s.
I think a lot of people can't see past the Celtic thing, though. To be honest with you.
I think if you're having the same conversation about going to Celtic, I'd be still saying it's
that would be a hiding to nothing, that.
Would you know, be great though if
going in after Brendan.
I want to see what happens if he's in Celtic Park next year and they all start singing "You Never Walk Alone" and he accidentally starts melting it. As the Rangers manager, that to me will be the ultimate moment. See, they'd want to be winning the league by about 15 points for them to get away with that one. But as I said on Twitter,
it's intriguing though, isn't it? Rodgers against Gerrard. You know, it's.
But the one thing I did say,
Rodgers is gonna love that.
Yeah.
He's gonna love it. They'll be
outstanding, Stevie.
Mastering the pupil and all
that.
Yeah,
he'll have his arm around them when they meet at Ibrox.
And it will just set the fans off. No end. There'll be murder.
They go mad.
At least there's no, as I said on Twitter.
Maybe it's what they need. It could be a peace process.
It's not happening. It's not happening up north at the moment.
The Glasgow peace process. Stevie and Brendan bringing the two clubs together.
Yeah.
Power sharing.
Why don't they amalgamate the two clubs?
I just have one team in Glasgow.
Yeah.
That would they have a better chance in the Champions
League? Glasgow Celtics.
Rain tick.
Imagine that happened. That'd be great.
Glasgow rain.
That would be great.
Yeah.
I think that needs to happen.
Do you?
Yeah. There's no need for all that messing. Not in this day and age. Not in Scotland when like.
And did he just flip a coin for which
we're only down the road and we don't care about all that shit. Like we could drive up there in an hour, right? All that messing going on up there over the years. They're over in Scotland. There's a big fucking ocean separating them. They shouldn't be doing all that. Come on, boys. Join up.
If we don't
Celtic
even care, if we don't care at this stage,
and again come into the Premier League, that'd be great.
Do you know what used to?
And then born the SPL. Glasgow Celtics in the Premier League, and then born the SPL.
And then the NFL can come over and take Fulham into the Fulham Panthers to play in the NFL.
That's right,
yeah. I like
The
it.
Fulham
It's
Panthers,
almost the World Games is kicking
Yeah.
off here.
Is there any other teams we could join up?
Well, like
The Red Sox. We should let the Red Sox in.
Scotland have loads because like there's always two teams in every city in
Well,
Scotland.
Hibs and
Like they are more
Hearts and
parts
FS
than
as well, aren't
they,
they?
they just need an like there's Dundee and Dundee United.
Yeah, but are they Protestant Catholic thing?
Who knows? But one way, do you know actually
Well, Hibs
Dundee
and
United
Hearts
were
are they?
orange after St Kevin's boys in Dublin. They were founded by a priest.
Dundee United.
Yeah, they were a traditionally Irish club. That's a handy. So just keep them, then make them the orange lads. Really freak everyone out. The orange lads they're the Irish fellas. Nobody know what's going on. Get Dutch in as well.
But
Love
that
Dutch, love
league
that.
really is poxy, isn't it? I mean, it's been. I know because of what happened with Rangers, and it's not got competitive again since. But if Gerrard can bring back that, even if the fucking games against each other are close at this point, it's better than what they're serving up at the moment because it's just ridiculous.
All I'd say is at least, and I said on Twitter, at least we've never got a precedent of us bringing the Glasgow Rangers manager in, who's a former idol of the club, and him then subsequently destroying everything.
would
At
never
least that's
happen.
never happened.
At least that's never happened.
Couldn't possibly
Never
happen.
happen.
Never. Not a midfielder.
Never.
No.
No, never, ever happened. Right, lads, let's wrap this up with Brighton. The look ahead to Brighton.
Okay.
The look ahead to Brighton. So, on a positive note, we voiced our concerns, but
Yeah.
Brighton are a footballing side.
Mhm.
They have a terrible away record,
Mm.
and they've got a goalkeeper that we've definitely never tried to sign at any stage whatsoever, right? Who's just been in electric form all season. Sorry about this, but I can't help it. Your man Matty Ryan is actually a quality goalkeeper.
He
But
was
look,
quality against United again, wasn't he?
yeah,
He really was.
he's for a small goalkeeper, he's actually very, very good at what he does.
Yeah.
But I will say one thing, if we were going to look for the team to come and try have a go at us in the same way Bournemouth did, and what they have a strong belief in playing football and playing the way it is, this is the side that we want. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm nervous after watching them play against United on Friday. That what's his name, Knockhart, or whatever you say it. He looked on fire.
Yeah.
I don't know what he's been doing all season, but he looked particularly impressive. And your man Murray is a handful up front.
Glenn Murray, but he
is,
always
he
has
really
been.
is.
Fair play to him since I brought him into my fancy football team. Not playing.
But he is active. Yeah. No, but he looked.
I miss
he
his
looked.
penalties when he does play.
He looked like he could. He's one of those players who could cause like Lovren trouble. And yeah, there's look.
West
I
Brom
think
relegated from what I heard.
Oh, okay. So how
Somebody
did that
must have
game
won.
end up?
Football won.
Swansea.
Swansea. Terry Carvajal, the manager, William Carvajal or whatever his name.
They're
What the
staying
hell
up,
is
are
that? I don't know. And he checked.
That means
scores.
Mark Hughes is going down.
This-
That was quite funny on
Managed to get two
Saturday
teams
against-
relegated.
against Everton, wasn't it? Fuck yeah.
Southampton
won.
Swansea 0.
Ooh. Ooh, where does that leave the league table now?
I did feel. I mean. I get to
Oh,
feel
Southampton are up to 16th
Saturday.
now.
And they've got a good goal difference there, minus 18.
Well, there you go now.
But look, Brighton.
That's a bit of a pisser because we could have signed a few Southampton lads a bit cheaper than normal. They got relegated.
fire sale.
Yeah.
Would have been a severe fire sale going on there.
Yeah, let me-
result.
It is. It is. That's really thrown. Like, well,
That's finished, is it?
what's it?
Yeah.
So who? Basically, West Brom are gone, Stoke are gone, and then Swansea need to win.
Who were
Can only catch Huddersfield.
playing at the weekend?
Are Huddersfield not playing a match
Chelsea?
in hand? They're playing Chelsea.
Fighting for their lives.
Yeah.
Yeah, with Klopp's best mate.
Yeah.
Could we send Danny Ward down and just like, put a wig on and say that's their head training there, try and go?
Send Ings and fucking.
That's the game. The game in hand. The game in hand
We're
is
calling it.
Huddersfield, isn't it? And then they play Newcastle on Sunday.
Is that
I think
what it
that's
is?
what it is? Yeah.
So
So
this
I think
game in
they're
hand.
playing tomorrow against
Chelsea
Huddersfield.
are playing Huddersfield tomorrow.
So
Huddersfield really need a draw at least.
they need something, don't
Yeah.
they? Otherwise, they're in serious trouble. And I think they've got quite a tough game on Sunday as well, Huddersfield. So
Yeah,
it's
they're
like,
playing Man United.
They're at home to Huddersfield tomorrow.
It's Man United, yeah. Is Man
Chelsea
United?
are home to United. Don't play
Tottenham play Newcastle. It's tomorrow as well.
tomorrow. Yeah, that's all tomorrow's games.
Yeah, so there's still quite a lot of football to be played, isn't there?
And I think the last game of the season, I think it's Huddersfield and Spurs. Isn't
Huddersfield Spurs, is it? Okay, jeez. I knew they were playing someone tough.
Yeah.
But look, Brighton Sunday. We're going to do some predictions here.
Well, look,
Spurs are playing Leicester the last day.
Spurs are playing Leicester, right? Newcastle,
Leicester are shite.
Newcastle are playing Chelsea, and it's in Newcastle's ground.
Yeah.
Away the Geordie lads. We always loved the Newcastle lads. Nobody has a clue what they're talking about, but they seem like nice chaps.
They
on the
did a
beach.
number over Chelsea a while ago.
Yeah, no, but
didn't
they've
they?
been on the beach. Leicester have been on the beach. There's been 4 or
Listen,
5 teams.
Rafa-
Johnny
on the beach.
Method
Rafa's
in the
not on the
centre
beach.
midfield is going to look after us, his ex-club and the whole lot, right? So, I will say to you, right, so
It's
Brighton...
certainly not a formality that Chelsea and Spurs both pick up 6 points anyway.
No, but
Definitely not.
you've got to just expect
it'll
them to
happen.
do it, right? So
Yeah, I suppose.
we have to do our job. So Andy, are you going to be confident that we can get our heads back on the game?
What the?
The bloody fly.
Scumbag. Get
No,
away.
piss
What are you
off.
doing? What is-
People will be able to
why
see
is
that in high
fly so
definition.
brave?
I know,
Why is
stupid
that
and
piss
prick.
off?
I know.
Bit of hot weather.
Yeah, fucking hard, man. Oh, yeah.
Come on, we sort you.
Swat you over. Yeah.
What we're saying, yeah, Andy, we're going to win. Boom! We're going to win.
Yeah, we're going to win. We are going to win.
Let's go.
4-0.
4-0. Okay. The lads will be back on form.
Yeah, I think like if they can't switch back on now and realise bollocks, we actually need to win this game.
Do you play the 11 that's going to start the Champions League?
Yeah, 100%. Everybody, they've had a week off now. Everybody, that's unless they pick up Knox and Trent, should be fit. Trent back to right back, Henderson back into midfield.
Gomez is out for the rest of the season now, isn't he? Yeah.
John
He's got an operation.
on his ankles.
And
His cankles.
God love him. He's
Liposuction on
like,
the ankles.
just doesn't seem to be happening for him. But anyway,
He'll do well at
Yeah.
Rangers next season with Solanke and Ings.
it's a must win game. The nerves will be there, but it's at Anfield.
Everyone's saying
Come
4-5 nil 6.
I think
right?
no. I think we're going to do it the hard way. I think 3-2. I think they'll give us some scares along the way.
Yeah.
I don't think they'll be plain sailing at all.
Early goal. Early goal sorted out.
I am very nervous about this. I am genuinely fearful of this game. And I said it to you weeks back. I said if we didn't get the West Brom result, I was really.
They shouldn't
I
be.
thought we were
They, you know,
close.
they shouldn't play in any certain way that's going to really, counter our way of playing. Like they want to just enjoy the football.
Do you mean set up specifically to get a point or
Yeah,
anything like
yeah,
that?
that-
Yeah, I know.
And that's
Yeah.
going to be our
Yeah.
biggest fear. Like God fucking
Yeah.
forbid we are playing Huddersfield at the weekend, and they
Oh,
had to
no.
really win.
Dig in.
They're gonna, and they needed a point. It's going to be
Yeah.
a bastard. But look, they've had a couple of good results recently. They should be on the beach. They should be just out there to enjoy themselves.
And the
play
fans should
free.
be just, willing to
If
be
anyone
happy
that's
to
going
be at
to-
Anfield.
If anyone's going game, just scream your heads off.
Yeah,
for
Salah's
95
been
minutes.
a little bit off lately.
We want to get
but he'll
Salah
want-
this hat trick. We
He'll
want
want
to get
us.
fucking.
He'll want us. Yeah, he'll want us kind of to consolidate his top scorer.
The
team.
last thing we want as a fan base, even for the team, for everything they've done this season, is for them to have to be doing that lap of honour at the end, having blown top 4.
Yeah, I know.
Right? So everyone just needs to
Real
will them.
shame.
Everyone just needs to will them on. Just believe.
It's just
And
a
I
lot-
don't buy into all this shit. You know I'm the biggest cynic in the world, right? But we we have to just even fucking go a bit Yuri Geller for this one and just completely buy into it all. Have no doubts. Never. Don't fear. Don't fear these toys.
Yeah.
Don't fear them. Fear is what
Yeah.
kills you in these things.
And that's
Yeah.
that's the thing about Klopp and finals and all that. Like, because this is a bit of a final, and I don't really like the idea, reverting from what
What got us here?
everything is that got us there
Yeah.
to something that's not us.
Yeah.
To protect the result or to try and just get it over the line. If we go out and play the way we know we can play against them,
We should be
we're
3 up
gonna
at half
obviously
time.
slaughter them, like absolutely
Yeah, I know.
slaughter them.
We
It's
should.
it's made for us. It's an attacking football team that we can get a bit of space, get in behind, and absolutely fucking smash them. Like that should be the way it happens. But if Liverpool start getting all nervous and Klopp doesn't send them out to do it the way we've been getting used to,
As
then-
fans, we can't afford to get nervy. As you're saying, going back to the
No, no.
Middlesbrough game last year, right?
Yeah.
You were right. People were starting to get a bit tetchy, a bit nervy as we got.
It wasn't a good
that
game.
time, right? And it wasn't a good game.
so-
But you could see the nerves in the players out there. They need to buy back into what was
And
there last
Middlesbrough
year.
was shite.
And
They
remember,
were down and they were
Yeah.
absolutely
and remember,
useless.
there's a reason why they're in the Champions League final this year. There's a
Yeah.
reason why
Yeah.
they should be second at least in the league.
Yeah.
There's a reason why they should be looking at winning the league
we're a
next
couple
season.
of squad players away from being second, I think.
Yeah.
The gap between us and United, I know it's a few points now, 5 or 6 points, but we've impressed this season. They haven't. They've been.
You can see the progression of what we're
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
can see where we're going. And for the players must just remember this. Go out, no stupid mistakes. right? Just give nothing
Full
away. Go
concentration,
back to being, say, this is it. It's 90 minutes. That's all we have here. 90 minutes to secure another Champions League final for next season. You've done it for 2018.
Yeah.
If you want to be in
to
that,
what happens in 2 weeks.
The way they set out
That,
against
you know.
Roma at Anfield, the way they I know City controlled the game early on at Anfield, but the attitude they had in the game, the will to win, to get forward, to not fear, a team like them, and the same goes for the final as well. I'd sooner lose the final 5-0, playing the way we know we can play, trying to play the football we know we can play.
Then lose it
That's
2-1 because we
That's
changed
it.
our way.
Never give the game a chance, to never try and expose them, because this team can be anyone on the stage. I believe we can.
I believe that we can win. I believe that we can
That's
win.
what we need to do for the next 2.5
The
weeks.
referee's a wanker.
Referee's a wanker.
The referee's a wanker. The referee's a wanker.
There's been some highs and lows this season, hasn't there? I mean, only not quite a week ago, but after in the aftermath of the Roma game, I think it was Sean. He was saying like everyone had the Mickeys out swinging on Twitter, didn't they?
Yeah,
Especially Shawnee.
Yeah, and now like we are as a fan base kind of split again.
Yeah.
You've got the half that are like, this isn't an
There's the
issue.
button we think.
This isn't an issue.
Yeah.
We're going to win these next 2 games, and then you got the other half who are thinking we are goose here.
Yeah. Look, we've had
and two, this could be a complete and utter, balls up.
this is
at
our
the end of the
fourth
season.
chance now to get forward.
Fourth.
I mean, how many free hits have we used up now?
All of them ever.
You know
That's
what I
the
mean?
end of the free hits.
Yeah.
There's no more free hits, and we won't need them because we're going to hit just one out of the park tonight. We're going to be like that Northern Irish fella from Belfast who took up the old baseball and has gone over and hit a home
he's
run
gonna
today
make
for the Mets. Yeah, and we can all make those faces like the American lads in the Seattle Sounders. I believe. Those guys. Anyway, listen. That's been the Tuesday Club. Remember, we are doing this. This time next week on the Tuesday Club, we won't be depressed going, what the fuck has happened? We're going to have to beat Real Madrid to get the Champions League.
I've got a feeling in the pit of my stomach now that's going to go all pear-shaped and we're going to be all here next week, doom and gloom in it.
Well, we always get
Well, you're going, so you're going to be part of this, whatever happens.
Remember,
You're
Ray,
going to blame me?
Right, right, I want to see, after 2 minutes, I want to see you standing up in the halfway line. I believe!
I hope there's a flag
Do
on the
it.
cop.
Do it, right?
I believe.
You're not, and remember, you can't face the match when you're doing it. You have to just turn around and face all the fans and go, I believe!
All the corporate fellas.
What's wrong with your man?
Yeah.
Did you see your man in Castleknock there at the weekend?
No.
Who took a load of LSD and was tripping off his
Oh,
head.
yeah,
It was on the news.
yeah.
It was in the nip, walking around.
He
those
those
long
coupers
shopping.
all over the back of a squad car and all. He's in big trouble.
He's in big trouble. It was on
Play
the
stupid
news.
games, win stupid prizes.
Poor bloke.
Yeah.
I found out who he was today. Somebody I know was telling me. Yeah, that they know him. So. But that's the way it goes.
He changed his profile pic on Facebook and all to one of the pictures of him up to a CCTV camera. So he's obviously fairly okay with it all.
I think he probably just has to embrace it because it's never stupid piss off.
That's not going away, yeah. No, it's
If Barack Obama was here, he'd kill that fly. Anyway, right
Salah be able to kill the fly.
do you reckon?
Yeah.
He'd be able to tread the ball past them. Anyway, listen, that was the Tuesday Club. Thanks for watching. In association with RedsBet, as we said, the RedsBet lads are sponsoring us, and they sponsor this podcast. So keep an eye out for the feed. We'll have something on there to do with them. There are a few special bets, especially coming for the weekend. That's in it, the Champions League. That's ahead. Next week we'll be back on Tuesday again. I think we've got 2 weeks after this until the Champions League final. So we'll be we'll be post-mortem time. Probably see end the season review, and maybe just
endless transfer talk.
endless
already.
transfer
Yeah.
talk.
We could do a
Everyone loves
transfer
the-
special.
We'll do a transfer special.
Yeah.
We're going to do a transfer special next
I
Tuesday.
don't claim to be an ITK, but I have a couple of nuggets coming for me this week.
Oh,
Okay, right. Don't forget to send the text. And with that, we will be back next Tuesday. Big thanks as ever to Andy Young for coming in tonight. Bringing the flies in. Big thanks to Ray Dicko.
Going
Dickinson. Going the game.
Going the game,
Going the game, Dicko. our LFC regular, the man who puts the trips and day trippers. But not, of course, the trips in Blanchardstown, because that's a completely different thing altogether. So, look, again, big thanks for watching. We'll see you all next week. The podcast will be out later on this evening, and the HD high-quality version of this will also be on YouTube. So, actually, get onto YouTube and subscribe to us, because there'll be some special YouTube-only shows for subscribers. There isn't a paywall or anything, but you won't be able to see them unless you're a subscriber on YouTube. And I think, as far as I know, the Tactics board will be back this Friday, if we can work out a temporary solution. Due to a lack of Mac. Anyway, so that's it. Good night. God bless. Thanks for watching. And remember, I believe!